client loves. Anything else that you would add?
If you're willing to walk through a little journey with me and close your eyes, I can give you from the beginning to an end of a 5-minute phone call. I'll walk you through some steps. I'll make it easy for you. It's not advanced because once you see it, you'll never unsee it. And so just allow me just to share some things that I've noticed in the years that, once again, will not compromise your ethics, values, or morals. But I will teach you something today where you'll be able to note when you need more clarification from somebody. All right, everybody, let's begin. This is the way I believe that the average attention span is 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So let's just use this as the base of thought. All right. Every conversation has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. But if you think about it, if you don't land the intro, your body and conclusion don't even exist. So let's not even think about that. We'll just go on the momentum from just your introduction. We'll focus on that. We mentioned calling companies before, and let's just assume, Michael, that the contact ratio is higher than 4%. You're getting calls, you're contacting people. A lot of telemarketers or prospectors will ask people how they're doing initially. I prefer, since you have the first chance to speak, use your anonymity to your advantage. Don't be anonymous the whole call. That's shady, but you're allowed to say something the first time. I'm not saying my name. I'm saying the name of your company. I'm going to ask, how's Build and Balance doing today? I'm going to say something like that because obviously Michael's doing great and his company's doing great. And so you're comboing. Instead of doing horizontal, we're doing vertical. I am stacking questions. Your theory that you've spoken about is open-ended versus closed-ended questions, yes or no compared to explanations. I like stacking certain questions so you can answer it for me to reduce the time and possibly get some sort of traction out of that. So first we ask how Build and Balance is doing today. Michael, of course, says, doing great. And then he goes, my name is Michael. Oh, hello, Michael. Hello, my name is Richard. Or you could say, what is your name? That's when you get your first buffer boomerang technique. When somebody asks you a question or makes a statement, you buffer it because sometimes the tone may be negative. Michael, you're a nice guy, you're a gentleman. But sometimes people can give you a -2, -3 tone. Same question, negative tone. You buffer it by saying, that's an excellent question. I just buffered it. The name of my company is Michael, and I +2 you back. So I can buffer it. That's an excellent question. Repeat the question and send it back, which shows active listening, so they don't have to repeat it. You're sending back what they said at them, so it's their energy coming back at you. It's your words, but I'm doing it as a +2, and I'm going to name drop you as well, just to teach you little manners to bring yourself to a +2 level. You don't need to yell at me. You could be a nice person on the phone, and I can teach buffer boomerang you with 1, 2, and 3 type of questions on how nice you want to give the response, how you repeat it, so you move along. There's never a repeat or a rabbit hole. That's the first thing. And I do this with the gatekeeper. So initially, they like the fact I repeated their question, said their name, answered the question. And I mentioned earlier about the positive escalation. Once they've been so helpful for me, or explain that it's Michael's anniversary, or that this company did this, I'm going to let her know I can't wait to tell Michael how nice you were. Now, of course, you didn't want to transfer the call. Maybe 1 out of 10 do that. Maybe. But once that call is transferred, you're starting off with momentum with Michael by saying, hello, this is Michael. Michael, I just got to let you know, this individual that works with you is incredible. And then you say, what's your name? Here's another buffer boomerang. Ah, Michael, glad you asked that question. My name is Richard Blank. So you just keep bringing it back, buffer boomerang. So then what happens in the middle of the call when you're giving lists, you're explaining what you do. We do A, B, C, or D. Time out. It's got to be like a dessert tray. Each one deserves its own thing. We can do A. We can do B. I'm waiting for either a positive reinforcement or potentially you reacting to that. And so as I say before, after you mention a list of things, you might say to them, I'm sure you like at least one. I didn't say you like them all. I'm not that brazen. But I'm also confident enough to know at least you like one. And you might get the one. So instead of doing horizontal, Now you're vertical again, and we see how many things you like of that one. But this is what happens in the middle of the call. I told you about 30 seconds to 2 minutes. I told you about the gatekeeper, positive escalation, buffer boomerang 1, 2, and 3 technique. We're good to go on that. But Richard, what happens when they're speaking? What do? We use the phonetic microexpression reading. What's the purest form of speech, Michael? It's phonetics, it's the sound. So there's 4 steps to phonetics. You have tone, which represents your emotion, and my suggestion, which you have in abundance. It's confident and it's empathetic. That is the consistent variable that does not change. The mirror imaging technique, which you've always mentioned in your classes of matching people's styles, in my opinion, Michael, it should be done with their rate, how fast they go, and their pitch. Now, we do this every 30 seconds to 2 minutes because that's just how conversations go. And you back it up with the answering speed because that's something they can't do subconsciously. You can easily control your tone, you can manipulate your rate and your pitch, but subconsciously, it's very difficult for you to control your answering speed. And so once you see it, you can't unsee it. After 3 weeks, it becomes a habit. It will not hold you back from any work that you do. You'll just be a little more astute, a little more lucid, and you will see the tell signs that people are giving you. Face to face? No. Over the phone, or if you really want the purest read when you're sitting with somebody, close your eyes. And then you can actually really read these people. Why do I do this? Because if somebody is doing a spike or a dip in regards to their phonetics, then that means that there is a tie down question or a pin down question or a confirmation question that might happen. You're reacting in a certain way. So I might be saying, Michael, sounds good, right? Or makes sense, right, Michael? Or hypothetically, since people are working from home, you might have dogs or children or distractions in the background. My suggestion for your audience, Michael, is inadvertently and passive aggressively let them know the Me Too technique, that you love dogs, which is really letting you know they're barking. But don't just say that. What the real salesperson or the attentive listener does is they ask the follow-up question. Dog's barking, she loves dogs, I love dogs, it's killing the call, but it's not that. But then I say, what's the dog's name? Her name is Fluffy. Great. I can wait till, Fluffy can go outside for a minute. And so once that calms down, you go back a step, but you leap forward 3. It's an excellent anchoring technique because you're looking for certain areas of the call, not your pitch and what you're trying to land. No, you're trying to look at that one thing you can connect on. If it happens to be a child or a dog or music in the background or some sort of anniversary that you can relate to, that's what you anchor on. And so this Me Too technique, in my opinion, is a great way to get back onto the straight line. But let's go to this again. You have a dog barking in the background. My opinion is to say, not excuse me, I'm sorry. Michael, can you repeat that? No. I'm going to fall on that sword. Michael, for my clarification, when your dog was barking, did you say A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3? Michael says 1, 2, 3. Thank you. It's for my clarification. Fluffy was making noise. I couldn't hear you, but it's for my clarification, not I'm going to ask you to repeat that because that's an ego defense mechanism that could kill the tone of the call. All of a sudden, there's rabbit holes there. So then we get through the body of the call. And the greatest thing that could happen in the call is if somebody says your name, especially in the body, which means, once again, you anchored, you have this relationship. So the rest of the call is cool. But let's say you get to the end of the call. It's the conclusion. What you would say is, since you have me on the phone, Michael, are there any additional questions you may have? I might have forgotten a stack. Remember, we spoke about A, B, C, and D. Oh, I like C too. You do like C too. And then we talk about that for a little bit. And those are the additional questions line. I get to rake it one more time. Remember, in the body of the call is, I'm sure you like at least 1. You liked 1 out of the 4. But then when I raked it again, we recapture 1, second one, third one you liked again. I raked you. Got it. Got a third one. And then I always do this for the icing on the cake. We always confirm your email address or any sort of words with military alphabet. because chances are you've served, know someone that served, or it's just a great way just to make things tight. And it's kind of funny where the call should be ending and then you do military alphabet. And then the next thing you know, I'm talking about my grandfather that served in Europe and my father in North Korea. So, South Korea, excuse me. And so it was, it's one of those things where you don't rush the end of the call. You want to make sure that your speed is consistent and you've taken their time. And by recapping and showing active listening, and I like to call it like meeting minutes in a sense, you really show this. And then, Michael, we're going to even close it even better for you post-call. Once I write you again about the appointment we have or the business we're doing, I'm going to be mentioning the individuals like David, for an example, and others that work with you so well, their participation, because that's a 1 in 1,000. No one writes that sort of stuff. And you know, when I call you back, and this individual picks up the phone, they're gonna be so happy to speak with me. And they're gonna say, I can't believe what you wrote about me. Thank you so much. In 30 years, no one said that. And so that's the Richard Circle, Michael. That's from the beginning of the call from the company named Spike Better Than They Do to the conclusion, ranking, positive escalation written. And if you do everything in the middle consistently and staying focused to these 30 seconds to 2-minute intervals, you will have such balance. You will have such focus. You won't be a print. You'll be an amazing painting. You will have incredible phone calls with strangers or friends you haven't met yet. And you'll probably get a ton of referrals. You'll be getting a lot of phone calls back of the way that you treat people.
Wow.